All right, it's here. The Ryder Cup, live from the infamous Bethpage Black in New York. And as the teams are making their final preparations for what is, let's be honest, golf's most intense event, there is a storm brewing. And I'm not just talking about what's on the weather forecast.
At its core, the Ryder Cup is just beautifully simple, isn't it? But it's so fiercely contested. You've got Team USA versus Team Europe going head-to-head. And they're not playing for money. They're playing for pride, for their flag, and for that iconic trophy. It's a spectacle like no other in the sport.
And that right there is the big question we're digging into. Because while the players are desperately trying to find their focus, you've got this perfect storm of wild weather, absolute chaos, and just overwhelming pressure brewing right outside the ropes.
To really get a grip on this pressure, you've got to understand the stage. And Bethpage Black, well, it's legendary for a reason.
I mean, listen to this from Team USA captain Keegan Bradley. This place changed my life. For him, Bethpage isn't just another golf course. This place has deep personal history. And that kind of connection, it just cranks the emotional stakes for the entire American squad up to a whole other level. And it just goes to show you this is so much more than just hitting a golf ball. The Ryder Cup is this profound test of your mental fortitude, of national pride, and it's all happening under a microscope of pressure that most athletes will frankly never experience in their lives.
Okay, so let's dive into what the players can actually control. We're going inside the ropes to see how each team is gearing up for the battle ahead.
And right away, you can see two totally different philosophies clashing here. Team USA, with guys like Bryson DeChambeau and Scottie Scheffler, they're going old school, grinding it out on the course, trying to master every single inch of Bethpage. Meanwhile, Team Europe, they're getting tactical. Players like Rory McIlroy and Jon Rahm are using VR headsets to simulate the hostile New York crowd. They're literally preparing for the noise before they even step on the first tee.
And you can't talk about preparation without talking about health. The good news is, key players like Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, they seem to be in top form. But for Team USA, Xander Schauffele is coming back from a really nagging rib injury. And then there's the biggest name of all, Tiger Woods. He's completely out with a torn Achilles. He's not playing, he's not serving as a captain. I mean, that is a massive hole in the team's presence.
All right, so that's what's happening inside the ropes. Let's talk about the other side of this equation, the chaos swirling outside of them. These are all the unpredictable elements that could end up defining the entire week. First things first, the weather. And folks, it is not looking pretty. There's a high chance of thunderstorms today, and then a pretty persistent risk of rain on Friday and Saturday. Now this can mean delays, wet, slow course conditions, a real disruption to the rhythm of the whole competition. In fact, they've already had to move the opening ceremony because of it.
Then, you've got the people. More than 40,000 fans are expected on the grounds every single day. That is basically a city descending on a golf course, and it brings an incredible, and I mean incredible amount of energy and noise.
And for those 40,000 plus fans, just getting to the course is going to be an adventure in itself. There is zero on-site public parking. So spectators have to take a train to a nearby town, then they have to find a shuttle for the last leg. The reports are already talking about a parking frenzy. It is a logistical gauntlet, to say the least. Yeah, and with a crowd this huge, security is, you guessed it, on super high alert. We're talking a massive operation with checkpoints, K9 units, and even coordination with the Secret Service because of possible presidential visits. The whole goal is to keep that crowd passionate but respectful.
But you gotta remember, the Ryder Cup isn't just a golf tournament, right? It's a full-blown spectacle, and it comes with this whole circus of sideshows that just add to the unique atmosphere.
Okay, if you want one little detail that says everything about the sheer scale of this event, get this. $19. That's the price for a single premium beer. It's a tiny detail that tells you a huge story about the money, the hype, and the massive commercial machine behind the golf.
And of course, part of that whole spectacle is the celebrity factor. An all-star match has already happened, pitting Team USA celebs like Colin Jost and Bobby Flay against Europeans like Brooklyn Beckham and Catherine Zeta-Jones. It adds a little bit of that Hollywood glamour to the whole thing.
Okay, but this is a really fascinating twist. Former Ryder Cup captain Paul Azinger has suggested that Bethpage Black is so brutally difficult that if the home team starts to struggle, the passionate and maybe frustrated American crowd could actually turn against its own players. That home field advantage could become a serious double-edged sword.
So, when you put it all together, the player prep, the external chaos, it all leads to the big question, right? Who is really best equipped to win this thing?
And hey, if you want to catch all this drama yourself, the main competition runs Friday through Sunday, and you can find it mostly on NBC and the USA Network.
So that's the setup. That's what it all boils down to. You've got one team that trained for the course and another that trained for the crowd. Faced with unpredictable weather, logistical mayhem, and the sheer weight of history, which team is truly built to conquer not just the course, but the entire chaotic spectacle of Bethpage Black? Well, we are all about to find out.